Items that you should add to your stockpile for winter of 2023 and into 2024. Let's discuss. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Coffee Rant with Dano. Tonight, we're drinking Peet's Coffee, Cafe Domingo. Very good coffee, very strong. Help get me through tonight's coffee rant. If you have to hit pause to get your coffee together or whatever beverage you deem necessary, go ahead and do that now, as this will most likely be a lengthy discussion. Let's dive right into it here. So, we are talking about items tonight to help build your stockpile with not just food, but other items. We are going to start off with just food, though, and some items that if you've never had a stockpile of different foods, or if you've never really thought of planning ahead to make sure you have things, I'm going to go over some very simple things that are easy to stock up on when you find good prices. Now, one thing about this time of year, we have holiday season, so it's a good time to stock up on some things that you normally would probably just get for the holidays, but it's a good time to stock up on some of these things as we go along here. Now, different foods. We're going over holiday foods. Canned goods. For instance, tomorrow Kroger is coming out with a deal on Green Giant vegetables. If you can find them. This is a tricky one for me because we've been seeing Green Giant vegetables kind of disappear. So I don't know. Maybe Kroger has had the hidden warehouse of Green Giant items, canned vegetables. I don't really know. But yeah, they've been hard to find. We get a lot of comments on Green Giant kind of flying off the shelves as well. 49 cents a can, guys. 49 cents. It is going to be part of their buy 6 or more, save $3 deal. So it's kind of weird how they do this one. I also wanted to mention real quick that I will not be able to visit Kroger tomorrow to check these deals out. However, I will here in a few days. My mom is actually, her last day of retirement is today, and we are heading out tomorrow on a little mini getaway, which I will be doing videos as well while we're down there. And they do have Kroger's where we're going, but I won't spoil the surprise because we're going to be doing some other videos, try to provide some entertainment while we're where we're going. So if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you are aware every time we have an upload on here. You pretty much have to hit that bell notification to make sure that all of our videos are popping up in your feed. But anyway, let's get into it. We have the different foods, canned goods. Canned goods are always good to stock up on. I know a lot of people are particular about the bioengineered ingredients that are in a lot of different canned goods. This has been going on for a long time. They're just now forced to put it on the cans. I'm glad that people are being made aware of this. I've known for a long time. We've talked about it on the channel before. So depending on what you like or how you want to eat, the cheapest ones are going to obviously be Campbell's and some Progresso, some of these other soups. You can get into more expensive organic like Amy's or Pacific Foods, stuff like that if money is not an option. However, these are always good items to stock up on in case anything ever happens. Good to stock up on anyway, as we always talk about on the channel. When we find good deals on it, you want to buy some up because you're ultimately saving money in the future by doing this. Okay, you want to get shelf-stable items. Any kind of shelf-stable type dairy milks. We always get, a lot of people always talk about non-dairy creamers, non-dairy milk, powdered milk, stuff like that. Things like Nido or different store brands, which could typically be a little bit cheaper. You'd be surprised, though, like even Walmart is pretty close to the same price as it is Kroger. Maybe a little bit cheaper. But that's why we go to the stores every day so that we can try and find these items for you. The next thing for foods, and I'm not going to go too deep into foods here because we got a lot we want to cover. Freezer. Okay. Make sure you have some freezer space. This is a time of year where a lot of people are making their own foods. They're making soups. They're making just all kinds of things. This is a good time to check out different recipes. And why do I say that? Because one thing you definitely want to stock up on, especially, with unknown things in the future, things going on all around the world, we need to pay attention. Recipes. It'd be a good idea to get out your grandma's recipe book, or you can check out our channel. We have a couple people on the channel here that are constantly leaving different recipes for different items, not just food either, different ailments and stuff like that. I really appreciate that. Always make sure that you double check on some of these things though that you read. Not saying that they don't, you just want to make sure that it's something like if you have any allergens or something, just don't go off and do something without checking that out first. A couple people left some comments on that. I appreciate that. I really do appreciate all the recipes that people leave on here. But the reason why I say always check that out is just for that reason. Make sure that you are checking for different allergens that you might have in some of these different recipes. But I cannot stress this enough, guys. Cooking at home, you can really stretch your food. You can really ration things out. Okay, so, rationing things out is the smartest way to go to save money, to eat healthy, and to make sure that you are able to sustain these things by having a lot of freezer space. That's the only issue that we have with a lot of things. Is for most of this, if you're like us and you like to jar up a lot of your different soups, a lot of your different meats, stuff like that, unless you're canning them, unless you have like a canner, like a pressure canner, stuff like that, you're going to need a freezer to freeze it. Okay, so you may need some extra freezer space. You may need like a deep freezer. Find a good deal on one. It is the perfect thing to have in your preps. Now, you may say, well, what if power goes out? The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and should probably be at the top of this list, is a solar generator. You want to make sure that in case anything happens that you're able to get power, right? These generators, I swear it's the one thing, I feel like they're a lot cheaper than they used to be. It's kind of like TVs. When these things were coming out years and years ago, they were expensive and they're still kind of pricey. They're still expensive, but they're not as expensive as they used to be. And I feel for what people's needs are these days, I feel like it could serve very well in your average household. Okay. Next on the list here that I have on here, a lot of this is from you guys too. I'm not just saying this myself. The whole freezer thing was you guys. So, and a lot of the shelf-stable milks and stuff like that. We always get comments to check out a lot of different dry milk, different things that we can keep that are shelf-stable. And there are a million items. There are different things that you can actually order that are like freeze-dried meals, stuff like that. You might look into something like that. And, just all kinds of things to make sure that you can just put it away, forget about it. Here's an important one, too, before we get into some of these other things. And we always talk about this on the channel now. Make sure that what you're stocking up on is food that you are going to eat. Okay, I can't stress that enough. I have fallen victim to this myself. A few years ago, I was buying up some things just to have, right? Well, eventually, you get to the point to where it's like, well, is it worth the space for me to keep this? I'm never going to eat it. Luckily, I was able to give it away, right? Because I didn't want to waste it. I don't waste anything. And that's just something that's kind of a mistake that I learned the hard way. And that's kind of why I'm talking about this now, so you don't waste your money, because we're all about saving money on this channel here, right? So, in a second here, let's take a sip of this Cafe Domingo. That is good coffee. I will say it is very strong. Very strong. I like strong coffee. So, yeah, you just want to make sure that you are eating the food that you are stocking up on. Like I've said in other videos, you always hear about different preppers and everything talk about, well, stock up on rice, dry beans, all these things you can, and yes, I mean, it's items that you can really stretch, go a long way. Rice fills you up, right? But if you don't like rice, if you're never going to eat rice, I don't know, you may want to consider other options. Excuse me. That's why we talk about like freeze-dried foods and stuff like that. You're going to pay a little bit more for that, but it's something that you can put away. Different like items, kind of like even better than like Bear Creek. I know Bear Creek has a long best if used by date. So does like things like ramen noodles and stuff like that. But there are like different websites that you can go to and you could just Google freeze-dried foods and see which one, there's a lot of them out there. Some of them are really expensive, but the ones that are expensive are traditionally very good quality. So you may want to look into that too for health reasons or whatever. Okay, so Next on the list, it's always a good idea for anything that you may need, find the vitamins. We've seen vitamins kind of fly off the shelves before. A few years ago, we were in the middle of everything going on with the pandemic and all that, but vitamins were flying off the shelves. This is something that I think is a very good idea. If you don't know, this is how I was at one point. If you don't know what vitamins are best for you, you could see your doctor. You can ask your doctor, like, what vitamin should I take in the future? You know, a multivitamin is okay, but remember that a multivitamin is only going to give you a very teeny tiny amount of what your body needs. So you need to remember that, whatever you're buying, always try to find the best deal, but that might be something where you want to ask your doctor of what vitamins maybe you should take. It's always good to have like vitamin C and stuff like that, especially if you don't drink like orange juice. Speaking of orange juice, someone had mentioned something they've added to their preps in the freezer have been juice concentrate, orange juice, different juices that they keep in their freezer. It's a smart idea, but again, as I say, if ever things hit the fan or things go bad, or just whatever happens, we never know what the future holds. You do want to make sure that you have a generator so that if your power goes out, you're not going to lose everything that's in your freezer. Also recommend, always have some coolers aside. Have a big cooler or a few medium-sized coolers. And just be ready if ever that happens. Just know that you're going to have to go get that ice. Okay, moving on to the next thing here. Clothes. We're going into winter. Clothes, socks, undergarments, anything you can think of where you can find a good deal on different things to keep you warm, I would keep an eye out on the sales. Now, I'm trying to look at different places like Walmart and stuff like that. We're going to be doing videos and stuff on some of these different prices as well. I'm trying to get familiar with what today's prices are because what they were a couple years ago have nearly doubled. Crazy, ain't it? But we do need to remember that in case there ever is a situation, you want to make sure that you have extra blankets, extra things to keep warm, something that's going to really keep you warm. Also, if you drive, if you have a car, it's not a bad idea to have like an extra blanket or something in your car, maybe an emergency kit, things in case you ever break down or something like that, or if ever you're in a bad storm and you get stranded or something, it's good to have those things in your car because you don't want to sit there and let your car run giving out all the heat and eating up all your gas, because in a certain kind of situation, you don't know how long you're going to be in your car. So you need to think of these things. But that's why we're doing this video. I plan on adding a little bit more of this kind of stuff into our coffee rants because we have to. We have to. We can't just think about food. I know our channel traditionally is all about how you can save money in the grocery stores, and it still is, but we have to expand a little bit and talk about some of these other things. And again, anything that I'm missing in all these, I only put a short list to start talking about some of what at least I thought were some of the most important items to have. You may think otherwise. Make sure you let us know down in the comments. Okay, some of the miscellaneous items here that I want to go over here. And you can consider miscellaneous, but these are very important. Battery bank chargers. Battery chargers. Those little fuel chargers, fuel cell thing chargers that you use, like you take with you, portable bank chargers. They sell them all over on Amazon. Tons of them. They're used to charge anything that you want. They charge on a USB cable. The one that I have, it's got like 3 USB ports, and then it's got different charge ports. It is like the works. I paid like $30 for it. I cannot remember the name of it. I have it packed away, or I would get it out. Maybe in another video we'll talk about it. But it is very nice. It's heavy, but it's heavy duty. It is heavy. But it holds like 4 or 5 different charges for like my cell phone. So if the power ever goes out or anything like that, I can have my cell phone charged. You can charge anything off it. You can charge a weather radio. Charge a weather radio. That might not be something too bad. Not too bad to have either. And if you're going to get a weather radio or an emergency radio, get one of those ones that have the hand crank. I know they're a little expensive, but you'll never spend money on batteries on them. I mean, they're really nice. They're, and you'll have to keep charging it like every 10 minutes. You'll have to turn it and everything, but you pass it around the room and everybody just take their turn. Next, probably one of the most important as well, are flashlights. Flashlights. Get a strong LED flashlight. Don't get one of the ones that just have like the regular soft light, because for one, that eats up battery a lot faster. Two, it's not that bright. You want to make sure, and yes, I know some people don't like LED. I'm not a huge fan of LED either, but it lasts the longest. You're going to get the most bang for your buck. Next on this is batteries. You want to make sure that you've got plenty of batteries. I've had a lot of trouble. I know some people say get cheap batteries here, cheap batteries. You know what? I don't go cheap when it comes to batteries. I get Duracell or Energizer, and I'm sure most of you out there know that Duracell or Energizer lasts the longest, right? You get the cheapest Amazon batteries, and believe me, any kind of batteries is better than nothing. But those Amazon batteries, I'll tell you what, they drain so fast. I mean, it's ridiculous. But Energizer, Duracell, Sam's Club, or Costco. Sam's Club does Energizer, Costco does Duracell. Now, they have their other brands too. They have the Members Mark, and then they have the Kirkland brand. Some people say Kirkland brand is Duracell. If it is, I wonder what they're doing to them, because I got some Kirkland batteries and they did not seem as good. They seem like they did not last as long. So I don't know if they're taking something out of it to make it a little cheaper. I don't really know, but I'm just telling you my experience. I know a lot of you guys like Kirkland batteries. I liked them too, up until the point it seems like we were kind of burning through them. So I don't know. Might have lasted a little longer than the Amazon ones. Next on the list is candles. Now, I don't, if if the power's out and all that stuff, you're going to save power by using candles. Just be careful with candles. If you're going to light up a bunch of candles, you want to make sure you have a window cracked. You want airflow. But all kinds of different candles are good to have if you're outside, if you're out and about, and say you're lost. Well, when I've gone camping, we've gone camping down at Red River Gorge and all different kinds of different campsites over the years. And I always used to bring those little tea lights, right? I mean, now they got the little LED ones, which that could be okay. But if you lose them or if leaves come over them or something like that, then you're dealing with, not being able to find them and you're out a little bit extra money. However, you get those little tea lights, those little ones that you light, line them up to where you're going, your path, like the path, because I'll tell you what, and we especially did that down at Red River Gorge, because you got to be careful where you walk. If you're going to be walking around at night at Red River Gorge, if it's dark out, one false step and you could fall like 100, 200 feet. It is no joke. You got to be very careful. They actually recommend at night that you're not out walking around and staying near wherever you're camping. But we had those tea lights just in case. Lit up. They were lit up all night long. They were a few pennies. Might be a little bit more now, but you can always buy them at Dollar Tree. But always good to have. Tea lights are always good to have. Either one is good to have. Any kind of illumination to the path to where you got to go, especially if you're out in in the gorge like that. It's pretty crazy. One thing. Okay, we went over solar generator. Tools. Tools are important to have for any kind of situation. I can't tell you, I have this one bag of tools that is car tools. I use it for everything. And it's like my everything bag. I use it for literally everything, not just cars. But I've got my hammer, I got my nails, I got my screws, I got my drill is separate. I keep that out of it, but I keep it very close by because I use it a lot. But as we go along here, you're never going to know when you need them. And how many times have you been in your house and like, oh, this broke, and then or you have to fix something really quick, and I don't have a tool for it. Something got ruined. If I would have fixed it 5 minutes ago, it probably would have been fine. That's happened to me a lot over the years. So I made sure that every time I fix something new in my house or on my car, I make sure that I buy the tool for it. Now, people can say that tools are very expensive these days. Somebody also mentioned, I guess Lowe's sells Craftsman. I didn't know that. I haven't been to Lowe's in a while. We're going to have to visit Lowe's. But somebody had said that they sell Craftsman tools, so that's good to know. Harbor Freight is pretty cheap. I would be careful with some of the tools that you get there. But the Pittsburgh brand has always been pretty good. I mean, I've never had any problems with them, any of the different sockets or screwdrivers or anything like that. But as for that is really all I have for today, but we are going to be adding to this list as we go along. There were a couple things I wanted to chat about real quick. We have been getting a lot of viewers. I don't know what it is. You know, maybe it's just the way the algorithm works on YouTube or which way it starts pushing our videos out. But we've been getting a lot of viewers from up north, northeast. More Canadian viewers as well. More viewers from Canada. Thank you all for joining the channel. We just hit 37,000 subscribers, guys. 37,000. Thank you all so much for being part of the channel here. We're all helping each other here. If you're new to the channel, you know, we are making sure that when we see things going on, whether there's a shortage of food up here or a shortage down here, we are comparing what's going on with prices. We're making sure that we are getting that information out to you as fast as possible. So we're not wasting our money. You know, gas is going to be going up, although it has been sitting steady here. I actually saw it come back down to $3.17, so I don't know what happened, but it went up to $3.35 or $3.39 and came back down to $3.17. So let me know what your gas prices are. If they had gone up and come right back down, I don't know. I don't know if the price of oil dropped. I don't know, but if things go awry overseas here, you know, gas will probably most likely go up. So be prepared for that. Probably won't be able to do Kroger until I get back. But let me tell you this. Get to Kroger. Okay, I'm going to go over just a couple different sales that they are having this week on the, it's the buy 6 or more, save $3 deal. Okay, it's a weird one, okay, but there are some okay sales on that. I saw Philadelphia cream cheese for $1.99. I saw Green Giant canned vegetables for 49 cents. There's a couple things. A pound of cheese, 1 pound now, 16 ounces, for $2.50. Says 2 for $5, but with Kroger, you just use your Kroger Plus card. That's not part of the buy 6. There's a handful of them on there, but we will check when I get back. I am so excited for Kroger this week. There are a lot of things going on. They have hams. They have the spiral ham and another kind of ham of the Kroger brand. One of them is 97 cents a pound, I believe, with a $25 extra purchase. And then another one is 88 cents a pound with a $25 extra purchase. Now, this was the preview ad. And the site was having problems. I backed right out of it because it kept putting up ads and ads and ads. I don't know what was going on, but it was hard to read. But we will be going over that stuff when I get back. But definitely check out Kroger. Look at some of the sales. Check online. See what kind of good deals you can get. That 50 cents a can for Green Giant, that's pretty awesome. That's pretty cheap. I don't know, though. I'm not a big fan of Green Giant. I'm hoping that Walmart puts their great value ones back on sale for 50 cents a can. That would be awesome. I'm pretty sure Aldi is going to do that. I don't know. We've seen shortages of both, though. So is that what they're doing? Are they keeping a bunch back because they know they're making a deal? I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and find out, guys. Keep prepping. Keep adding to the stockpile. These are some good items to add to the stockpile. And I just missed one here. I just noticed. So, good to have some extra propane. Good to have extra gas. You know, another thing, if power goes out or things go awry, or if it all hits the fan, good to have some extra propane in your can. Sorry, I was just trying to rhyme there. That didn't really make much sense, but always good to have extra propane. That way you can cook on your grill outside. Either the big propane tanks are the way to go. Some people are always talking about where the cheap Craftsman. Let me tell you something. So at Home Depot or Lowe's, you can buy the connection. Right? If you have a small, like, Craftsman grill or something, you just like the small portable. And I understand the little Craftsman things are pretty light, but they're getting expensive. If you get the propane, the big tank, they make the connections to go to the smaller grills. You might pay a little bit. I think it's like $20, $25 for the connection. But look at what you will save over time. And that's another thing, too. What I did years ago is I bought me a tank from Home Depot. Okay, clean tank, clean connections, all that stuff's nice, still nice to this day. I've had it for 10 years and it looks brand new. Excuse me. But the reason why I did that is because I go to a place where they fill your propane for you, right? So I'm lucky enough to be close to a gas filling station. Okay, and that's another thing to remember too. When you go to Kroger or somewhere else and you trade in your tank for another, you're only getting 15 pounds out of a 20-pound tank. Did you know that? The reason for that is because when they travel, when they're dropping those tanks off, they have to keep 5 pounds out of that tank for risk of it blowing up, right? So you're only getting 15 pounds. You're not getting the full 20. If you have your own tank, you can go to these gas filling stations where they'll fill the propane for you, and you get the full 20 pounds. And it's like $19 for them to fill my tank. I might be a little more now. It's probably a little over 20 or something with gas prices and all that, but it's not that much, and you're getting an extra 5 pounds as well. So, I mean, that, to me, that's the way to go. So maybe look around, see if you can find your local gas filling station, a place where they can fill the propane for you. That is a much better deal. And I probably could have just got one of those tanks, from a store and used that one. But, I mean, those are like $50, right? To just have right out without trade-in. I paid $38 for my empty tank at Home Depot. And then it was almost $20 to fill up. So I initially paid a few dollars more than what I would have got one from Kroger or somewhere else. But I've got my own tank, and it's not all mauled and beat up like all the older ones. But anyway, that was just my 2 cents on that. Guys, thank you for joining me with the coffee rant tonight. Thank you again, our 37,100 subscribers. We got 450 subscribers in the last 5 days. 5 days, 450 subscribers, and probably counting now. Guys, so awesome having all of you on the channel here to be part of what's going on here. And I know times are tough, and we will all get through this together. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.